It's my great pleasure to introduce John Williams to the show. Most of you, and me included, will know him from James Bond Radio, the music of James Bond. But I don't know if I've done that right. John, great to have you on, mate.
Oh, it's great to be here. I'm a huge fan of the show, and it's a thrill to be here, and especially talking about To Catch a Thief today. It's one of my favorite films. So, and fashion-wise, it doesn't get any better for me.
Well, listen, I watched it last night. I can't remember the last time I watched it before that, but I've said on the show a few times that I can tell if I've really enjoyed the film if I've taken 1,000,001 screenshots. My phone hit max storage last night. I think every other frame is something that you can just take a picture of and hang on the wall, right?
Really. Yeah, it's a piece of art. It's a stunning film now more than ever. I mean, it just takes you back to a world that, it's hard to believe that it actually existed.
Yeah, right.
Everything is so beautiful and clean, and the fashion and the French Riviera. I mean, it's just amazing. Hitchcock fired on all cylinders,
So tell me, when did you first see it?
Well, I was raised by grandparents, and so these were the films that were on in the house, and I got turned on to Hitchcock at a really early age. And this was one that it's not Vertigo, it's not North by Northwest, it's not Rear Window. So it was always kind of, below the surface of my usual go-to favorite Hitchcocks. And, started revisiting it in recent years. And about a month ago, it was one of those Saturday nights where you put the phone away and you actually watch the movie.
Right.
And it just blew my mind. The Blu-ray is fantastic. I mean, the transfer is amazing. And, it was one of the movies, if not the movie in 2021 that really grabbed me. Like I was, just so engaged with the film, and a lot of that had to do with the fashion.
Yeah.
And once you and I talked about doing this, I went back and rewatched it last night. And it's amazing that I spent more time, noticing and engaging with what Grace Kelly was wearing more so than Cary Grant.
Right.
And obviously I'm familiar with the costume designer, Edith Head, who's probably the most famous costume designer in the history of Hollywood. She's iconic, became a household name for her work in Hollywood, and Roman Holiday, Sunset Boulevard, White Christmas, Place in the Sun. She won 8 Academy Awards, had a great relationship with Hitchcock. God, I'd love to talk about Vertigo too. I mean, Kim Novak, just stunning. So anyway, and I think you look at the costumes now, and it's what you identify with as women fashion, but those were not the fashions of the day. She created them. I mean, if you watch Sunset Boulevard, that literally inspired Dior. Yep. You know what I mean? That came from her designs. And a lot of that is true. And we can talk about that obviously in this film, where, that was not the fashion of the day. I mean, she actually changed the way that women dress and men dress. It was interesting. I read a quote last night that said she enjoyed dressing men more than women. And I thought, wow.
Yeah. That's pretty special.
You'd never know it, but yeah, I mean, she really was, the black velvet dress that was worn in, was it Rosemary Clooney, I believe, in White Christmas, with the huge, diamond on her back, on her waist. Like there'd been nothing like that before. I mean, she changed the landscape of women's fashion.
Yeah. And it was all very kind of like, in this film particularly, all very streamlined, with kind of white piping on the sleeves, short sleeves, and these kind of deep plunge back necks. I mean, I know we'll get into the menswear in a bit, but you can't really look at a film like this without at least mentioning what Grace Kelly was wearing, and some like the pops of color that come through. I mean, this film was so vibrant, and she made it that way.
Yeah, it's breathtaking, Grace Kelly is not sort of like the woman that I seem to be attracted to. But let me say that when you see Grace Kelly, I mean, I don't care who you are, man or woman. I mean, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And made more beautiful by these outfits. I mean, first and foremost, the black and white dress with the hat.
Yeah.
When she comes out of the hotel. I mean, if you look at all the extras, and I'm sure it was intentional, everyone in that scene looks at her and stares with their mouth open. And the look on Cary Grant's face when he sees her is like, oh, Jesus, this is going to be trouble.
But that's everything down to like what she's wearing. I mean, she's not walking through with like a cleavage showing or any kind of leg showing, and the guys aren't going, crikey, look at the arse on that. It's literally the outfit and the presence that the people are doing with the head spins on, aren't they, really?
Yeah, just phenomenal. I mean, that's how I felt. I mean, everyone in the scene is like representative of how you, the viewer, feel.
Yeah.
And then the pink coral picnic outfit, which I guess Grace Kelly went to Edith Head and said, hey, look, I don't want to wear pants. I want to be feminine, but I want to be sporty. And if you look at her in that scene, I mean, she just looks amazing.
Hey, John, I know we're kind of both into our Bond and our Bond locations, right? I mean, boy, have I missed a chance. When I go back to Monaco anytime soon, I've got to find that picnic spot that overlooks the bay there.
It's still there.
Is it? Wow.
Yes.
But
it's
Monaco.
Still there. Yes, you can still, I know. There's a couple of, that checks quite a few boxes, that trip, right? You know? No, that picnic spot, that overlook is still there. And I love all the innuendos, about the leg of the thigh. And, I mean, anyone, but any woman who's dressed in coral pink skirt in that convertible eating fried chicken, I mean, that
ticks the greens.
Yeah, I mean, what more do you actually want out of life, buddy? I do. Especially when you're 50 and she's 25. I mean, good heavens.
Yeah, how old is Cary Grant in this?
50.
He's 50. Okay.
50 and she's 25. Yeah.
So what was funny in one of the scenes when the mum, Grace Kelly's mum, is saying, hey, how come you haven't made a pass at my daughter? And I'm like, well, probably because he's twice the fucking age and you're closer to his age. So he's probably trying to crack onto you. Anyway,
I know. It is odd. And you know, you may or may not know this, and I didn't know this, but that actress who plays Grace Kelly's mom plays Cary Grant's mother in North by Northwest.
No. Okay. All right.
And they're only like 4 years apart or something crazy. I don't know the exact number, but yeah, wow. It was a little inside joke.
Yeah, I did like that. That makes sense because she does look a little older than Cary, but I mean, to the point
Cary
where
looks so good.
Cary looks so good, he could be chatting up an 18-year-old cocktail waitress, and you'd still believe that, right? So
yeah, no, it plays. And hang on, we got to talk about the gowns that she wears, the white draped saffron dress that she turns around at the door and kisses him, and I mean, it's just like she looks amazing. How good does Cary Grant look in that tux?
Oh man,
coming down the hall, it's James Bond.
It is, right?
I
mean,
is that the first time we're seeing James Bond?
It's so crisp. So he has like this, it looked like a midnight blue with the deep shawl tuxedo, but the shirt I noticed was really cool because he had like these diamond studs in them. There were more diamond than mother of pearl, and I thought that's something else that gives this like a glow, doesn't it? It kind of really pops out. So yeah, I was thinking this guy is just he's he's just a magnet, isn't he?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Cary Grant maybe in his prime visually, I mean, he looks so good in that tux, and she's in that white gown, and it's just the way she turns around in the doorway and kisses him. I mean,
oh yeah,
you surrender.
Yeah, she had this like glacial beauty to her, and interesting what I heard about as well, that she doesn't wear any jewelry until the scene when she's in the white dress with the fireworks going on. So like everything is kind of open neckline, but no jewelry, and it's only when she then has the kiss scene in the hotel with the fireworks going off in the background, she wears this kind of like diamond tiered necklace, so she can pull off every look, every dress without having any ornamentation on her at all, and she can still just look as radiant.
And still look amazing.
Yeah.
But I think we obviously have to talk about Cary Grant, considering this Taylor's from Love here. We spent all this time. I mean, let me ask you: are the high-waisted pleated pants ever coming back? Is that for men? I know it's come back Lauren Bacall style for women. Is that happening for men ever?
I think so. But look, I'm glad you said this, because like the first, I posted something on Instagram, like I've fallen in love with Cary Grant's trousers, and I felt like the first act of this film, where he's in this, I guess this Breton striped long sleeve top,
Yeah.
and the red cravat underneath, but it's all about the trousers, and that takes up about the first 30 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
And he returns to these trousers as well in later scenes. And I said, I've fallen in love with these trousers. I said, I text my girlfriend. I said, can I get these? Can I get these made? Because I always have to get these signed off with her. And she goes, you just don't suit baggy because you're too short. So I'm like 5'7" in heels, and anything kind of high waist and anything with excess fabric just makes me look fucking strange.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm seeing a lot more people wear like high waist trousers and pleated trousers. I think they're kind of back in vogue, and maybe have been for a couple of years. But,
I do too. Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a height thing where people, like, if you have to be a certain, like, above 5'9" to really pull it off and give it a good look. I was going to get your take on that. What do you think?
Well, funny enough, I just bought a pair of trousers from Suit Supply that have pleats in it, and I kind of didn't realize until after I did it that this is the first time I've bought a pleated pant in probably over 20 years.
Wow.
They're not high waisted by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a little on the tall side, so I don't know. I'm self-conscious about, pants looking really long on me, but that really tight pleated high trouser, the tabs, it's the sides. I think this seems to be more and more available.
Right.
We're seeing more and more of it in men's everyday fashion lines.
Yeah.
The high-waisted, I'm curious to see when a generation brings that back.
That's interesting, because I think the pleats, yes, I think pleats can come back quite easily. It's where the trousers sit on the body, and because we've like grown up in the generation where the trousers have to hang around the hip like jeans, when you make that transport back to trousers and then you kind of raise them up 6 inches, everyone's going to start looking at you going, oh, you're trying to reinvent yourself here, or you're trying to reimagine your style. This isn't what is natural to you, because they haven't seen you in anything like this before, right? So yeah, I think it does have to be like the young generation coming through, finding that for the first time, and then wearing that and then carrying that through, rather than me at the age of 40 now getting into trousers that are up to my nipples, right?
Tell me about it. I know. Cary's rocking those pants. He looks amazing. And I guess he came from a very poor family, and a lot of his family died in the bombing raids. And Edith said that Cary was the most immaculate male dresser she ever saw, and that he was like that 24/7.
Right.
And
okay.
if it was someone's opinion, and that I probably agree with, that he was overcompensating from his humble family, dressing the part, always just dressed perfectly. Man, he looks just great in everything, no matter what it is,
Right. And I was having this conversation with someone on Instagram just now. I was thinking, did everyone just dress much better in the 50s, or is it just so happens in films that I see from the 50s? I mean, in this film, it's not just Cary Grant. I mean, it's the policemen, it's the detectives, it's the waiters. I mean, I was even clocking like the help and the concierges. I mean, like, these guys are just dressed to the nines. You don't see anything like that, but maybe I'm just looking through like the prism of 50s film rather than reality.
I think, well, I can only speak for this country, and having been raised by 2 sets of grandparents. I mean, grandfather had a tie on at dinner. It might have been short sleeve shirt, but I mean, I look at all those old photos, and man, they were just all dressed so beautifully.
Yeah.
And I miss that to a certain extent. In where I live in California, I mean, it's like, it doesn't get, like, if I were to wear at this point a jacket and selling real estate, people would be suspicious of me just having a jacket on. Forget about a tie. I mean, it's so casual here that if you were to dress up, people kind of look at you funny or ask you about it. I love it in one way. It's fabulous.
Right. Okay.
But sometimes you're just like, oh man, let's tighten it up a little bit. Come on, America. We used to make great cars too. It's like, what happened?
That must be interesting. Yeah. To turn up to a job. I mean, like, I used to work in a tailor's, so it would actually be quite convenient for me to dress up. I really enjoyed going and wearing 3-piece suits to work, because it was in a climate that I could get away with. But if I then started doing something, I don't know, working behind a bar, I started wearing my 3-piece suits, people would be like, "What the hell are you doing here?" You know?
Yeah,
But
totally. People would be shocked, and I love it. I'll never forget. Dave Mason came through L.A., and my girlfriend and I went at the time. We went to go meet him for a drink, and I'm in Vans and jeans and a T-shirt, and so is she. And we show up and at the hotel bar, and Dave Mason is just full on, like double-breasted jacket, the whole thing. And I'm going, fuck. Like, oh man, I was self-conscious going, this guy looks so amazing, but if I were to show up in my office in a linen double-breasted jacket, people would be like, no, what's happening here? You going sailing?
Yeah, what's going on today? I thought we were just going to go sell houses. No?
Yeah, that's it. It's only a couple $1 million. I'm sorry I didn't have a T-shirt on. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I've been sartorially emasculated by David Mason before at dinner. It's quite the feeling. When I took him out for dinner, and he turned up in this alpaca suit, and he has like a look about him that deserves a suit. He's got the height, he's kind of got the hair, and he's got the suit. I mean, I wasn't looking too shabby, but I said to Anastasia, I don't know if I need to go home and get changed or what here, because this is pretty bad. And
he wears it so comfortably. And I notice when people compliment him, he just, oh, thank you, and just kind of just very, very elegant demeanor, very Cary Grant, actually,
Yeah, very unassuming.
Totally. But Cary looks great in this film. He looks great in every film. We real quick, 20 years ago, a friend of mine worked at Gucci, and she said, hey, we just got this black velvet tux backs that someone wore on an awards show. You got to come try it on. I tried it on. It was the most expensive thing at the time I ever bought. Got it hugely discounted. And I asked Gucci, and it was designed by Tom Ford before Tom Ford went out on his own. And he said, I said, where do I get this cleaned if something happens? And they said, there's only one dry cleaner in LA that you should use. So I started going to that dry cleaner, became friends with the lady who owned it for decades. And Cary Grant used to be one of her clients. And so she's got all these fabulous Cary Grant stories that she shares with me.
Oh, wow. Oh,
and I don't know what I can say, so I'm not going to say anything. But, it's just kind of cool whenever I go to my dry cleaner, I'm like, oh, this is where Cary Grant, brought all his clothes, or someone brought his clothes.
Nice. We'll have to patch her into the call next time when we do.
Nancy, her husband had become like sort of my adopted West Coast parents. And so I've gotten to know them very well. And it's just the people that come in and out of this one dry cleaner in West Hollywood. It's star-studded. Wow. That's the only thing I have in common with Cary Grant.
That's nice.
I'll take it. His dry cleaner. Well, that's funny.
John, a quick question for you. What outfit from this film, if the whole entire wardrobe came up on eBay right now, what would you be looking for ultimately? And what do you think you'd be reaching deep in your pockets to get?
Am I wearing it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, well, that sort of narrows the answer down. Oh man, I really, if it was something I was going to buy and that I was going to wear, the tux. I think that tux just looks the business on him. But I love the sort of bluish gray suit that he has on when he goes to the picnic and he's walking across the street into the hotel. I think that sort of slate blue gray, it's a really unique, beautiful color, and it looks fantastic on his extremely tan skin.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell the shots that are filmed on location, because Cary is a shade of brown that is has yet to be matched by Crayola. So I love that. I mean, I love all of it. I love his bathing suit when he comes out of the water. I mean, that's very OB at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like they look like they're setters. I think he looks great. But if I was going to have something to own, I think it would probably be the gold lame dress, and put it somewhere where everyone could see it and enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't know that I specifically answered this question, but
it should be a two-parter. Which one would you wear that you would buy, and which one would you just own? And you can... What
about you? The high-waisted pants or what?
I'd wear the gold lame dress. But
honestly, I was looking at you as I was saying it, going, "You look great in that dress."
Yeah,
I'd pay top dollar for that.
He's got the white, paley, translucent skin going on. I think he'll be all right. Yeah. I think when I first see Cary Grant in those trousers, like you say, and that. So he wears like two of these like knits long sleeves. One, they're both blue and white, but one's like a paler blue in the second scene. I think the first one with the red cravat, I think that for me, I'd like to have that. I might even get it. I might even ask someone immediately sent me some messages online about how they can make these trousers for me, because I posted about them last night. So I might go and get some of these trousers, but if it was on eBay, certainly that.
I think to wear that outfit in the south of France just to almost take the piss out of everyone around, you know, just to like show up with that level of confidence, you know, would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know? I think. Oh boy, do I miss traveling. That was another thing when I saw this film. I just thought.
Right. I think that's what grabbed me when I was early in the conversation talking about the screening about a month ago. I was just going, man, I felt like I went on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I felt like. You know, it took me away, it transported me. And that's kind of why I watch movies these days.
And if you do the French Riviera, then you've got to drive for it. I mean, so me and my girlfriend did do that a couple of years back, and that was just something special as well. It's not just the locations, but the experience of going through the mountains and going up to those spots where you can pretty much overlook every bay and every part of the coastline. It's just gorgeous. Yeah. I want to get out, John.
I know.
I want to get out. Time.
I just got back. I went to Palm Springs a couple of days ago, and it was the first time I've really been out of LA. And I mean, it was just for 48 hours, and I felt like I was on a 2-month cruise around the world, just to be somewhere that was kind of tropical and holiday-like. It was just like I came back glowing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, oh my gosh, let's get this party started again. First, let's take care of everybody.
Yeah. We'll get that message. We'll take care of everyone, and then it's carnival time.
Yeah, and then it's time to hit that bucket list. You know, there's no wasting time.
Do you think you'll come to the UK for No Time to Die?
I'd love to if it's an option. I was all squared away and was on my way and ready to go. And, you know, if the opportunity is there, I will absolutely be there with all the fellow Bond nuts. Yeah, I hope so. I'm hoping it comes out.
Yep. Hope to see you in September then, if
absolutely
goes to plan. In the meantime, new Instagram account.
Yes.
Bond Closet.
Yes. I know. After many years of being involved with the Bond community, sort of on the outset, I finally have opened my own Instagram. That's not my real estate Instagram, and thank you for all of the Bond fans who followed my real estate Instagram. But it's called the Bond Closet, and you know, it's kind of like me coming out of the closet to some degree, in the sense that you know everyone knows me for the music. And I love music. I'm all about the music, but I am well into the clothes and what you and David and Harris are doing. My middle name is Full Price because I seem to pay full price for everything. Full Price Williams. So yeah, it's called The Bond Closet, and I'm building content now. And I would love it if everyone who's interested would come over and check me out and follow me and you know, like good stuff on The Bond Closet on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, it was actually quite surprising when I was listening to you talk to David and Kyle and Bobby on the Daniel Craig chat, and take this within the spirit that's intended. But I was like, wow, this guy knows his onions. Do you know what I mean? And I had him in the music section. I had him in like just the kind of general Bond umbrella. But I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm well into clothes. I've always been into clothes, and I definitely subscribe to the Harry Saltzman. I don't want anyone to miss me. Yeah. You know, I love color, bright color, you know, and especially when I came to live in London, you know, and just in the 90s, it was like, you know, Paul Smith and all of that. So my look is in a lot of these brands you guys talk about, you can't get in LA. And so that appeals to me. And so, you know, to incorporate all these fabulous British tailoring, which fits my body better than, let's say, Italian tailoring, is a lot of fun for me. And then I thought, okay, I just need to fess up.
And we got to see some photos of you in London in the 90s on that account.
Oh man,
some throwback London,
looking like Batty from Blade Runner, you know, like, like seriously, that whole train spotting era, you know, kind of was like, Jesus, the buzz cut that's bleached white.
Oh, I was hoping for blonde highlight tips for.
They're there too. That happened eventually. Then finally, fuck it, take the whole thing off.
Awesome. Well, John, thanks for taking time out, mate, and looking forward to seeing more content. The Bond Closet, as always, and we'll put some links over on the show notes so people can find you. And enjoy the rest of your day, man. Great talking.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. This has been an absolute thrill. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Cheers, John.